Hello, my friends. It's Jillian Harrington, and today we are going to do a guided energy healing, specifically to focus on calming down the thoughts in your head. I don't know if you're like me, but I got a lot of thoughts going around up in my head, and they're not always very useful. Since you're a human being, I'm going to guess that you have the same problem because it is part of the human condition to have these voices go around in our head. Of course, we know, or hopefully we know, that these voices are not who we are. I know that was a journey for me. A lot of times I thought that what I thought was the truth, whether it was something negative about me or a feeling that I had where I was just so right in whatever argument that I was having or problem I was having with another person. It is, as Eckhart Tolle likes to say, the voice of the ego, and it can really mess with us. I was going to use a different word there, but it can really definitely get in the way of our spiritual progress, of course, but also simply our happiness. So depression is something that I have dealt with since I was 13 years old. And as I've gone through my life and experienced everything that the world has to offer, the thing that I really learned is how powerful my thoughts were in feeding into that depression. So for me, dealing with those thoughts is one of the number one things that I need to do to make sure that I am staying in a happy, peaceful place, because that negative thinking can just take you down to a dark place. And I don't want you to be there. I don't want to be there. I don't want the world to be there. I think too many of us are in that space. So let's do this guided energy meditation that can help you in cooling those down and getting rid of some of that energy that's spinning around in your head. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so I want you to get first in a comfortable place. So you can be seated, you can be lying down, you can be standing, whatever you like. Probably not great to be driving because I want you to focus on the road. But most importantly, just get in a space where you feel comfortable. I am going to talk about this from a seated place, but we'll try to give a few different options if you're in a different position. No worries. Okay, so first, let's go ahead and ground. That is, if you only have one thing to do, grounding is a wonderful, wonderful place to start. It anchors you to the earth. It gives you some solidity. It brings you back into your body and out of the brainstorm that's happening in your head. So to do that, we are going to imagine from our hips, so whether you're laying down, standing, sitting, whatever works, go ahead and imagine a cord going all the way down from your hips to the center of the earth. Now, you can also imagine this as a ray of light. You can imagine this as a waterfall. We all have different substances and imagery that works for us, and that's okay. Whatever works, works. And I know some of you are saying, well, wait a minute, I have problems with visualization. It's really hard for me. No worries. You can simply intend it. You can always work on, visualization in other meditations. The point is to not get hard on yourself about what you can and can't do and start judging yourself. Let that go. We are just going to intend to ground. Maybe if you focus on just the feeling of like rushing and letting things down. So go ahead and do that and imagine or intend ray of light, etc., your visualization of choice, all the way down to the center of the earth. And I like to imagine it as a big magnet, and like it's magnetizing my energy cord all the way down to the end. Oh, that feels nice. Did you feel that? It felt really nice to me. It just felt like a settling in for me, like, because I hold so much. I'm often being told that I need to ground more. I was told that even earlier today. So this is something I intend to do on a daily basis, just going through the world. Okay. So now as you're grounded down to the center of the earth, go ahead and wrap that cord around the earth or attach it to the center of the earth, whatever you like. And let's go ahead and imagine, visualize, intend around us a nice big sphere of light. Now you can see, or maybe you can't see, I'm closing my eyes. You can close your eyes. You can leave your eyes open, whatever floats your boat. I particularly like to close my eyes because it really helps me tap into the energy sensations and also what's going on in my body. So I'm going to bounce back and forth between having my eyes open and closed. So go ahead and imagine yourself surrounded by a sphere of light, maybe a bubble. Sometimes I like to imagine it like a Glenda the Good Witch, Wizard of Oz sort of a bubble, whatever that is. That's your safe space, okay? And that's your auric field that we're going to be existing within through this meditation and this energy healing. And there's a lot of stuff going on in your energy field. You've got your thoughts. You've got your friend's thoughts, your partner's thoughts, your dog's thoughts, maybe, I don't know. But you've got a variety of different energy that kind of you collect little detritus, little garbage that you pick up throughout the day. And we hold on to it like shiny little objects, like Ariel and her little collections under the sea. But you don't need to hold on to them. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to intend, visualize all of that energy that isn't ours going down out of our energy field, down that cord and down to the center of the earth where it's going to get recycled into some nourishing, beautiful, delightful energy. Great. Let's go ahead and just do that. Sometimes I like to imagine like those vacuum tubes and like it's at the bank, those old timey vacuum tubes that suck out the energy. So sometimes I'll do that. We can also go ahead and imagine some like spray, like some cleaning spray that you're just spritzing in your energy field. Okay, just spritz it. I like to imagine it in the color yellow and having the intention of joy. And then I'm just spritzing it and just letting all that dust kind of float down. You can also maybe imagine it like a snow globe, just floating down. It doesn't necessarily matter what the visualization is. It matters what your intention is and what resonates with you. If it resonates with you, it's going to have a stronger impact. So if you want to keep it very neutral and use light as a cleansing, that's great. You can use fire, whatever you vibrate with. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and take a deep breath in and let it out. Just let go of everybody else's energy, their expectations. Let go of your expectations and your energy that you are ready to be done with. That old energy that's played its course, it's had its time. We're just going to let it go. And now let's go ahead and fill in, again, intend or imagine. And what I like to imagine is there's a bright light over my head and it's dripping into my energy, right? Or lighting, it could be a light that's coming into my energy. Imagine it lighting up your energy field or dripping in just the color of love, whatever the color of love is for you. Perhaps it's pink. Perhaps it's a nice, rich, deep blue. Perhaps it's white, like that bright, white, beautiful color. It could also be gold. Gold is also a very, very powerful color. All of these colors have different vibrations to them. And I really encourage you to feel what feels good, because whatever vibration that feels right to you is probably going to be the one that serves you the best. Okay, so I'm going ahead and I'm filling in with some pinkish white light. I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to do a blend and combine my energy field. Great. With that love. There is so much love for you in the universe. Not only are there all of the people that love you in your life, whether you have pets or people, there are people who also just don't even know you and they love you. Maybe they sit in a mountaintop in the Himalayas. Maybe they sit in their backyard and they're sending love out to the universe, and that love is coming to you as well. So go ahead and receive that in. You also have love coming to you from your spiritual guides that are working with you, loved ones that have passed over, and the universe or God or consciousness, whatever name you know that by. There's so much love coming at you that you can't even perceive. So we're going to take a moment and let it in. You may not even feel it, but if you can let it in, you'll start seeing it show up in really beautiful ways in your life and also in your thinking mind, which is, again, what we're working on here today. Okay, so let's go ahead and let all that love in. Great. Okay, now we're going to work with a few chakras to help us. So first, because we're focusing on love, we're going to go ahead and focus on the heart chakra. This is the easy one to get, right? It's located right in the center of your chest, right here, in your heart area, but not literally over your physical body heart, but in the center of your chest. It is associated with the color green. So you can imagine it green, but you can also imagine it pink if that feels good to you. And what I want you to imagine or intend is a bright light in the center of your chest. And I want you to see it getting larger and larger and larger, right? And I want you to put your hand, if you can, or if not, you can just send it to yourself mentally. But imagine pouring out of your hand some lovely pink or white or whatever color, like I said, that works for you. I'm going to go with that pinkish white again, that pink or white light. So you're letting in the love from all over the world and all over the stratosphere and the universe, into your heart. That feels really nice. And let it fill up. Fill up. Now, great. Just take a moment and let that sink in and enjoy it. I can feel it tingling in my toes. Now we're going to take this love and we're going to give it back to ourselves again. So I want you to think or say aloud if you like, I love myself. This can be really hard. I know it can be really hard. That's why I will think it in my head, because sometimes even just saying out loud seems a little scary sometimes. In the world that we live in, it sometimes is not okay to love ourselves. It's seen as selfish or wrong. But if we can't love ourselves, we don't have anything to give anybody else. So let's start and just say to yourself, I know it sounds really woo and goofy, but it works. Like I love you. Or even I'm sending love to you if that might be hard. I'm sending love to myself. I like to imagine it whirling around my body, kind of like a cyclone of love. Right? I'm sending love to myself. So you're taking in that love that you've received and you're sending it back to yourself. How wonderful. I will do this sometimes when I'm feeling particularly down, depressed, or just feeling off. I'll do this, kind of give myself an energetic hug. And it feels really nice and it really helps. So I hope that you do that as well, whether it's like on your way to sleep. Just give yourself a little energy hug. Okay, let's just take a minute and let that kind of settle in a little bit. Nice. Okay. Now we can imagine that light or intend it to just be really bright, really bright. So you're sending love out into the world. So now you've nourished yourself, you've filled your cup. And now you can imagine yourself as a bright light. I kind of like to imagine it like one of those dandelions that you make a wish off of, but light instead of the little spines. Or maybe like a bright star. And go ahead and imagine that as big as your body. You can imagine as big as even that bubble that you had created at the very beginning. That feels really, really nice. Great. Nice. Good job. I like that. That's great. Okay. Okay, now that we have a nice, firm basis in love, let's go ahead and work on our head. Okay? So I want you to imagine, you can put your hands on your head if you like. I like to do that. It gives me a physical experience. And go ahead and, again, imagine that kind of a cord like we had done at the beginning of the video. Imagine a cord going from your brain, or you could even imagine multiple cords, little tiny cords, going down to the center of the earth. Oh, that feels good. Okay, and imagine they're little drainage tubes. And they're just draining out any of that negative energy, any of that really active energy that might be going on in your head right now. And in fact, then I'd like to also do a little bit of sweeping, because often those negative thoughts are not just inside your skull, they're also floating around your head. So go ahead and sweep them with your physical hands if you want to. You can also imagine, we do like to imagine around here, you can imagine a little vacuum, right? Vacuuming things up, or a duster, or even little fireworks going off around your head that kind of explode it. Again, what's my theme? Whatever works for you. Go ahead and imagine all of that energy. It could be like a smoke that maybe you're just blowing away out of your space. Ah, good. Now go ahead and send it down, all that energy down the tubes, down to the center of the earth. Great, great, great. Yeah, it's okay. And you might even have some thoughts coming up right now that are judging you that this is stupid, or you're not doing it right, or you're not sure if you're doing it right, or is this going to work, or whatever. That's okay. The thing that helps reduce those thoughts is not feeding them. So just see the thought, right? Our good old meditation principle. See the thought, let it be. Don't let it upset you if you can. Just say, oh, there's that thought, right? Be the watcher that sees the thought, because those thoughts are not you. Who is you is the part that sees that you're doing the thinking. So the more you can shift where your identity is from the person who's thinking all of those thoughts to the person who's seeing those thoughts being thought in your head, it is a part of the human condition. It's part of our biology to have this kind of wiring of these thoughts. You don't have to participate in it, and it doesn't have to be your permanent reality. So go ahead and watch any thoughts that come up, and you can imagine them tumbling down to the center of the earth. Great, 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 great. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more cleaning. Now there's a chakra, right? Your third eye chakra, right between your eyebrows, right here. It's kind of in the middle of your head, and it goes both ways. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and put your hands, see if you can put your hands on either side of your head. This is what I like to do, at least. If you can only do one side, that's okay. If you only have one hand to use, that's okay. If you don't have any hands to use and you want to use imaginary hands, that's okay. But I like to have the physical experience. So imagine that light, that color light that you're working with. I like imagining it as a white light in my head here. And what I like to do is I like to ping pong the light back and forth between my two hands. So I imagine it's sort of like flossing, right? Flossing that chakra in the middle of my head. Yes, back and forth like a little pong ball until it kind of settles down a little bit and kind of sits in the middle of my head and can kind of light up. Now, since we're doing our thoughts, we'll also do it on the side of our heads too. So again, imagine that light going back between your two hands, intending it to balance out your brain hemispheres. Balance you out. Nice. Good. Now, go ahead and just imagine some white light coming out of your hands, like a little electricity, and it's just filling up your whole headspace. You can also imagine that love color. I like that idea. Just fill your head up with love. There you go. Okay. Great. Okay. Nice. Now, just one final little bit. We're going to fill up with some more energy, just as a top off. Imagine from that light that's floating above the top of your head, coming down into your energy field. Go ahead and pick a color that works for you, or you can also pick an intention. It might be good to pick peace, or calm, or power, or love, or confidence, or certainty. Whatever you feel like you want to be bringing into your space right now, this is a great time to kind of fill up your tank with that energy and set that intention that that's what you're wanting to bring more in your life. You set that intention, you make things happen in your life. Your energy guides, your spirit guides will help make those things happen. There is power in setting an intention for what you want to have more of in your life. So go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to be bringing in certainty. That, for me, is what I'm wanting more of in my life right now, right in this very moment. So go ahead and bring in certainty. For me, that's like a yellow color. Fill in, because we may have moved some energy, we may have cleared out some energy, so we want to fill in those spaces so we don't create any vacuums. So go ahead and just fill up your space. Nice, 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 nice. Good. All right. Now, finally, let's go back to that energy shield that we kind of set up at the very beginning. Because a lot of people's energy are going to be coming at you. And sometimes some of that mental energy that goes through your head isn't even yours. Maybe it's other people that you're around that you're picking up and that you're matching their energy vibration. Whew, that's no fun. That certainly happens to me a lot in the work environment. So when I'm around somebody like that, I like to put an extra shield. So let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and imagine that bubble around you, or that egg shape. Now you can imagine it as titanium if you really need some strong protection from other people. Maybe you've got a lot of chaos in your life right now. Like, boom, lock that up. Like, you don't need that in your space. But you could also have it be something a little bit more ethereal or light if you don't want to feel so closed off. Okay, so go ahead and imagine that as just that bright white. I like to imagine it as kind of a crystal, a strong, really strong, powerful crystal all around my energy field. Nice. So that was a little energy tune-up to help you with all the thoughts that might be plaguing you, bothering you, the negativity, and move you into another space. You can do the whole thing whenever you need it, or if there was just a bite-sized piece that really worked for you or that you liked in a moment, you can do it. You could do the shield. You could do the energy. You could do the vacuum. You could do the grounding. Play around with it. Just take a little bite, a little snack, a little energy snack, and apply it throughout the day to continue to move yourself in a brighter, positive space. It is possible. We don't have to live in the chaos. We can live in the light.